Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here in Boulder Canyon. I am going to cut down a few more trees, then we are going to gather up these trees, and we are going to go and sell them. I'm not actually planning to sell the trees until in-game tomorrow. I will fast forward things a little bit before then. So I just want to grab a few of these. There's a couple of little clusters of trees here on the edge that I wanted to get and just chop up. Then we should have plenty for a full trailer load. And go and take those off and we can sell them. And we'll keep the time fast forwarding at the same time. There's the extra lot of fertilizer that we want to put on the grass field just up here. So we want to make sure that we get that one going. I'd like to get all of that done today so that we have definitely got everything done this week with all of the planting, well, actually, no. There's one other thing that we're going to want to do this week, isn't there? We've got this bit up here. Get rid of the line. We've got that bit there that we still need to fertilize, but we haven't done any weed killer on the field. So there is that we're also going to need to do this week. It's only on the oat field. That's the only spot that we're going to want to do it. Now, there's a cluster of trees right here that I want to get rid of, and then there's three just over there that I was thinking I might try and go for as well. I don't know if I will actually get to them. I want to take this little cluster of three trees right here first. Well, that didn't go quite according to plan. It would be because I'm not actually anywhere near the tree. It would help if I was actually grabbing the tree. There we go. Grab the actual tree. That would be a huge help to picking the tree off the ground. Right, it's these ones. It's these little short ones. Well, not necessarily little short ones, but the ones that have the branches all the way to the ground. They're very, very difficult to see. It's extremely difficult to actually see what you're doing with them. Let's just drop that down there and then pick you up, drag you over that way. If you move it fast enough, you can usually get the tree to fall over in the right direction. Like that one there. So I'll just get this other one here. So I had this little cluster right here that I wanted to get rid of. And then there was a few just over there I was thinking I might go for. But now I'm sort of looking at it here. There's one more tree right in front of us that I might go for first. Just take that one out. There. I don't want to spend an entire episode doing tree cutting. I want to do like a little bit to a time. We do a few trees and then we go and work on other jobs. And then we come back and we do a few trees and then we work on other jobs. So that we're not... Because, like, I've done that. I've done that quite a lot. Entire episodes, entire weeks dedicated to just cutting down trees. So I'd like to be able... Like, we've reached the point where I can avoid doing that. So I'm going to sort of make the most of the fact that we are able to avoid doing it. And I'm going to try to avoid doing it. It would help if I turned this vehicle in the correct direction when I'm trying to do my turns. That would also probably help us a little bit. Let's get out of there. And then I'm going to come back over here. There's three trees right here that I wanted to get. Those up that side, we may end up getting some more of them later on, but those are not important at the moment. So I'm going to leave them. I'm not going to touch them. It's these here. We want to get these and move further back from where we are. So that we're... Hang on. We'll have a look in a minute. We'll grab a thingy in a minute, a thing from the chicken, the chicken pen. We'll use that one, just sort of a rough outline. That'll give us a rough idea of where we can put things, and how far back we're going to need to move these trees ultimately. Not that far, I don't expect. I really don't expect we're going to be moving all that far back from here. And we bring you out and tuck you back in again. There we go, like that. And swing you around out over there and grab that. And then we can bring our lorry over in a minute, our truck. I'm thinking we may actually just be able to load the truck right up. We don't always load it. We'll load it and then we take it over into the yard. We load it like a little bit to a time, then we take it into the yard and unload it and then load it properly. But because we're sort of on fairly level ground down here, I think we may be able to get away with loading the truck just straight in the field here and loading it properly. I'll have a look. We'll see if we can do it. I don't know if it's actually going to be possible, but it would be nice if we could, just once. It's not something that we will do on a regular basis, but I certainly think it's worth considering it. Right, this one I'm going to just nudge it further back into the woods over here, and then I'm going to shut it off. I'll drop that down a little bit like that. And we'll leave you there. I'm going to jump over to this one. Before I start doing that bit, I wanted to just see with the animal pens. We can test with this one because we've got the money to be able to buy it. It doesn't actually let us test with anything else, but we can get a rough idea of where we want to put things. So I'm thinking the pig pen would go back here, right? The pig pen would be in this area, so we just want to remove the trees from around here, maybe as far over as there so that we can build a little space around them. And then the cattle pen can go here without any problem. That one will rotate it round. So the cattle pen will sort of be at that angle into the hill a little bit right there. But ultimately it will sort of sit there. That would be the location it would sit. And then the pig pen is going to be there. Kind of like that. I mean, maybe at a slight angle over here, depending on where we've got the trees and that. We might bring it forward a little bit. We do need to make sure we've got room to move around it. As long as we've got room to get round it, everything should be alright. But that's a rough sort of idea of where we want to put things. Right, we can start loading. I'll fire you up. I've put the timescale onto 30 times speed. Actually, considering that we've got to go up a hill right here, I'm sort of thinking maybe we shouldn't be... no, it's not you. It's B to load it, and I'm loading on the wrong side. Wool Commander, breed 30 sheep. So we've just had another sheep turn up. I need to change the side that it's loading on, I think. Side am I loading on? Switch to the left. Okay, I do need to switch to the left. Switch to right, so start loading. I'm now loading on the left. I just got to move slow. Yeah, there we go. Just got to move slowly. And it's not supposed to be loading on the back end first. I need to switch to... Switch pile is that one. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to load it very well in the field. I think I'm going to have to go and unload in the yard so we can load again and have a neat, tidy pile. I'll bring you up there, swap sides, and then start doing that. It seems to be picking them up. Sort of. I will move slowly. I will keep moving slowly. As long as I just inch it a little bit to a time. Like that. One more bit. And there. Okay, so now I will switch it off. I will put the straps on. There are no more trees up there. So I can reverse it back down the hill a bit. Like this, and then we can head over to these heaps down here. I'll go in between these. Now, we've actually got a first... Right, wait a minute. No, I need to keep loading. I'll keep loading. We will deal with... Although, no. Right, I need to slow that down. That's got to be slowed down. Let's stop you a second. And we will go into the map mode, and we will go here. Growth. I've gone on to the first growth stage. Oh, no, wait a minute. I've already got fertilizer on there. Fertilizer, right, that's fine then. I don't need to do anything to it. Let's leave that a second. The grass, that's not grown. Right, we've got the oats down there. They've got... That's very peculiar. The grass hasn't grown at all. Fertilized. 50% needs lime. That's grown up to the first growth stage already. Looks like grass at the moment, the young oats. But then all the cereal crops do because they're grasses. But that one up there, this hasn't sprouted. It's got grass growing, but it's not actually sprouted. So the other one has grown, and this one hasn't. But this one we planted first. It's a little bit... I don't know why it's done that. I mean, maybe it will come along in just a second and it will do it. So let's put the time scale back to 30 times a minute. And I will put the thing auto-loading again. I'm going to be getting the 3 logs on our right-hand side first. And then we can switch over and load up those there. And then I can come over this way. You get those. There's 2 more down there that I can see. We'll get them in a minute. Let's load this one up first. Get these. It's actually picked up one of those logs. I didn't expect it to reach all the way over there. That's genuinely surprised me. Put straps on like that. And then reverse out. Like that. And then down a little bit closer to this one here. So that we can get that. Right, stop there. Start loading again. And that one is plonked up on top. Stop loading again. Straps are on. And now I can head over this way. If I just make sure I put the truck over on this side of the logs, we'll be able to get them all without any trouble. But I want to do this without be stopped each time and then start it, because that way you get more of the logs on. It works a little bit better. I got 1 log. Yeah, we may have a little bit too many on the front bit. It's still actually loading them on the front bit, which is surprising me. I didn't expect it to keep going with loading them on the front part there. I mean, we're doing very well here. It's a good job we did take some extra ones, because we're going to... now it's switched over to the back. A little bit of a mess of that, but it's not too bad. And I will risk just moving forward slowly while I'm loading some of these. Like that. It's going to have to be... Right, I'll stop there a second and I'll move forward a little bit quicker and then go again. It did manage to reach all the way over. And that log... I did think that one was going to fall off. I thought that one wasn't going to quite make it. And then we've got a few extras here, which will almost certainly, with just these few here, that's going to be like the load completed. Still not quite done yet. Got room for a few more. I don't know if I'm actually physically going to be able to get them on board. There's 1, there's 2. It's got room for another. And that is saying that it's filled. I don't think I'm actually going to try and take any more than that. I think that's a very, very good load that we've got there. So I'll back up here and then I will run that down to 5 times speed, back to normal. So we've got just a few branches left over here, but we've got rid of a decent chunk of them. We will wait until morning before I actually do anything. I don't need to do anything to the animals this evening. So the lorry can come out over this way and we'll put it out right in the middle of the yard over here. I will double check now. Let's just switch you off. We'll check the price. Actually, ooh! Right, weed is now coming out across the field. If I can go and get that spraying now, that means that we don't need to put care wheels on any tractor. We can just go and do it as it is. It's going to take a minute for the weeds to get across the field. It does take a little minute for that to happen. How are we going with wool? Wool is... Right, I suspect, actually, that we will be able to sell the wool today before nightfall. That would be quite a cool thing if we could do that. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. I'm going to go 120 times speed just because I want to move things along. And I think it does put the weeds across the fields a little bit faster. We'll run this through until it says 7 p.m. And I'm also having a look here. We're over 1,000. It's still going up quite rapidly. This is fantastic. Weeds are spreading out across the field quite nicely as well. 1,020. Right, let's slow that down there. We'll keep... It's got to stay on 5 times speed. That's 1,026. They're still going up. Weed is now right the way across the field. So I need my Deutz tractor. Where is that one? That one's over here with the loader on it. You're the one that's going to do the spraying. So we'll start you up and we will take the front loader off there like that. And then I can spin you round like this. and I can drop the front weight, or the rear weight for this one. We can drop the weight, the tractor weight, we can drop that one down there. So while I'm doing the spraying, I'll go once around the outside edge of the field, but then while we're doing the rest of the spraying, we may as well go and take our tractor. The grass hasn't grown yet, so we can't go and put the second lot of fertilizer up on the grass field, which is why I left the fertilizer spinner in the front, because that's what I thought I'd be able to go and do. So we're not going to go and do that for a minute. So what I'll do instead is I'll move this one over here, and the fertilizer spinner can go in front of the rake, because we're not going to use that one. Well, not before we need to use the fertilizer spinner anyway. And put that one down there. Then we can get the sprayer on. And as soon as I've done once around the edge of the field with the sprayer, I will then go and actually sell the timber. We may as well. I did say I was going to go and do it in the morning, but there's no point. If I'm doing a load of other stuff, there's no point in waiting until the morning. I think a half a tank of herbicide is enough to go once around the edge of the field. Hoping it is. Let's get this one unfolded. Because if I wait until morning, this crop is going to have grown a little bit, and then we're going to have care wheels on in order to be able to do this properly. And I don't want to wait that long. I don't want to do that. So if I start from, I'll start from this point here, like this. Actually, I don't need to do that one. I want to go from this direction. I want to go here, don't I? Right. We'll do it like this. There we go. And we know that doing the weeds and the ploughing and everything, it does make a significant difference to overall yields. We've tested that quite thoroughly. One thing that I've not actually tested is the difference that weeds make in seasons. I've tried testing it a little bit in the time-lapse, in the last time-lapse series, just by leaving some areas. I didn't really notice any difference with the yield because the weeds only come up in small patches on the seasons. I'm thinking it doesn't actually have any real impact on the overall yield that comes out of a field. Right? If it's got weeds in one little bit, it doesn't seem to affect the yield of the field overall very much at all. So I'm beginning to think that weed killer in seasons is pretty much a waste of time. Though it's not something that I've tested yet. Well, not thoroughly. I haven't been able to test it thoroughly. So if anybody does want to test it and then give us the results, that would be absolutely fantastic. If nobody is able to do it, then I will see if I can find some results. Well, see if I can like make some tests and that up and do it at some point. I'm just not quite sure when I'm going to be able to enable it. We might try and do it on the Alps Panorama series. I may be able to run a test on there while I'm doing that series, and it would be quite cool if I could get that done. That would be a very awesome thing if I can make that happen. And then we'll have some like solid data on that as to whether or not it is actually worth bothering with doing herbicide in seasons. I'm beginning to suspect quite strongly that it is not actually worth the time and the effort. It's certainly worth doing some things, like doing the fertilizer and stuff like that. It is worth it. And fertilizer in seasons, you need to do 3 rounds of fertilizer, not just 2. You also need to do the lime. That does affect it, as does the ploughing. The same ploughing requirements exist as the base game. But the weed killer bit, that's the bit that I don't think makes any difference. That is the one bit that I think doesn't really affect gameplay. One thing that I do really like about the base game with Farming Simulator now is that you have the option to turn the weeds off. You don't have to go round and spray for weeds every time. And I really do like that. I think that is a positive. That is a real positive. But one thing that I don't like is the weeds don't always come through at the right time. Like, you're not always guaranteed that they're going to show up in the first stage of crop growth, because they've got the weed rakes. They've got the weeders, the mechanical weeders, as an option that you can use. And so, like, an organic farmer would use a mechanical rake, and this is like a recognized treatment for weeds for any kind of organic farmer. There are a few other recognized treatment for weeds that they use as well, but this is kind of considered the base thing. What most organic farmers would do, they go around with these mechanical weeders, and they do work. They do work. They go through and they take out the weeds that are starting to show through as potential. Right, I'm going to fold this one up, and we're going to go and top up. They show up potential. They deal with potential weed issues quite early on. But the plant growth pattern doesn't follow that necessarily in this game. And that is one thing that's slightly frustrating to me, is that if you want to try and play as an organic farmer, you can, but like getting slurry and manure on the field for the fertilizer, that works really well, but it's the weed control is a little bit more difficult. It's very touch and go. I mean, yes, admittedly, organic yields are normally lower than non-organic yields on any farm, so you kind of half expect that anyway. But it does get a little bit frustrating that, you know, your weeds... Oops, I want to do that. It does get a little bit frustrating that the weeds may not come through at the right time, and so you're completely unable to do anything about the weeds, and then you've got to take that hit. But there are weeds that do turn up in the fields later on, and they do interfere with the overall yield of a crop with an organic farmer when they're trying to do whatever it is that they're trying to do. Now, normally I say that we're not allowed to go past 8 o'clock and we have to keep it on the 5 times speed. But in order to avoid using the care wheels, I am very tempted this time to just work on a little bit later. I mean, we do sometimes in real life have to work on a little bit later. And I just sort of said it that we wouldn't be working later as like an extra challenge within the game. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that. But how are we doing? The price is still going up on here. That's not changed, so it'll be morning before we can sell that. But this is still going up. So I'm thinking that it could be like an exception to the rule tonight. We could work late tonight because we've got the merchant who's coming to buy our wool. We've got a lot of wool here, but he's going to be late turning up. Now, I've had this before. I used to work on a farm. I lived right on the side of the yard. And so I, whenever it was out of hours, was always the one that had to load the grain lorries when they turned up. So it didn't matter. No. Oh! Did you see that? Oh, wow. That is what you get for trying to go around the corners too fast with a slightly overloaded load of logs. Oh, I cannot believe that. We almost tipped over then. That was almost serious bad news, that was. Oh, wow. That was pretty close. That was very, very close. But anyway, I lived on the side of the yard, and so if a lorry was going to be turning up out of hours, I was the one that had to load it. There was no ifs, buts, or maybes. I just had to do it. That was part of my job. And through the autumn, there were grain lorries turning up continuously, and so I often had to load a lorry, unless the lorry wasn't planned the night before, or the evening before, or day before, and was turning up like in the middle of the night. Occasionally, one would turn up at like 3 AM, and I wouldn't have to load it. I would sometimes get woken up by it being loaded because the farm manager would be out and he would be loading it, because he would have gotten woken up with a phone call to say it was turning up, and so then he would go. He wouldn't come and rouse me from my chamber and disturb my precious slumber by insisting I load. He would just go and do it and wake me up by herring around the yard with the load all with the horrible beeper on the back. Right, there's 42,000. So yeah, you had this thing racing around the yard. $44,000 we got from that timber. That's not bad. So yeah, he would. I'd still get invariably woken up by all the racket from the lorry being loaded, but it was nice to lie in bed knowing that I wasn't the one out there loading it. If we knew the day before that one was turning up at 5 a.m., then yours truly would be the one that had to get up early and go and do it. And this was just kind of an accepted thing. This was just something that I had to do. So I'm very familiar with working very, very late at night, having to deal with things turning up and be loaded. So I'm thinking that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to have a late work tonight. Normally, the whole point of this series is I've got to do things within set amounts of time, and there's penalties to pay if I don't get those things done on time. I could have not... well... ooh, the grass has grown as well. Right, well, we won't be doing anything with the grass. We'll wait until the morning before we do the grass because, yeah, we're not going to go and start doing the fertilizer on there. But the spraying, that job, I've seen that being done. If the conditions are right and there's not much wind, if the wind, like, you got to have a very low breeze or almost a flat calm. If conditions are right, people will be out spraying 24/7. Like, if the conditions are right, they will get out and they will be on their sprayer. They will go right through the night. Very, very often you will see people on sprayers starting at around 3 a.m. and working through until 10 a.m. lunchtime, something like that, because that's when the weather is typically at its calmest, and then breeze starts to pick up a little later in the day with the sunshine coming in, and that sort of affects the wind patterns, and then it calms down again much later in the night. So I know quite a few sprayer operators who generally start around midnight and work until about 11 a.m. and then go home and go to bed, and that's their kind of working day for several months of the year. Now, and it does depend. Like, you are really ruled by the weather when you come to doing spraying. It's any kind of strong breeze, and you do have to pack things up. So anyway, it has gone past 8 o'clock, and we are still working. We're going to do this. We're going to do it. We got 1,060 on there. We've not long had a growth stage, so if I was to start fast-forwarding time a little bit more, I suspect we would be all right as far as growth stages are concerned. That's not changed. What about straw? Straw is just now starting to go up, but you're on 1,061. So I'm thinking that we do fast forward time, and we keep watching this. It's still ticking up at a fairly reasonable rate. Hopefully this won't change. But then, even if this does change, because I'm using hired help, it's not actually going to damage the crop. And in real life, you can drive on the crop sort of in the next stage that it would be in the field, and it wouldn't really do very much damage to the crop. It's not really going to affect it very much, so you don't need to worry about it too much. 1,078, 1,079. We are reaching maximum price for the wool now. It's 20 past 9 in the evening. Still going. 1,082. And there we have it. That is maximum price. So we're going to go right down to 1 times speed, because we're going to need to just keep it on that price for as long as possible now. I'm going to switch over to our tractor working in the field, because I want to see... Right, he's going to go up to there. Is he going to go right down to the end? Or is he going to try and turn... He's going to turn right here. That's no good. I can't have you turning right here. You need to drive right down to the end. And then turn round. Like that. I know I'm going to be overlapping the spray a little bit by doing it here. But I'm fine with that. So I'll start you there. Yeah, I'm overlapping a big lot right there. So let me go over a bit more. You can see where the edge of the arm is. Well, where the edge of the arm was coming to now. So I want to be back over here somewhere. That's too far back. There we go. Just enough there to see the edge of it, and that will carry on up through. So you keep going, you keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully that will finish the field with what we got in the tank. I want this one. We will light everything up like a Christmas tree, like this, and we will get our trailer on, and we're going to go with these pallets of wool over here. And I have got half full there, half full there. That one is empty. That one is almost completely full, and then the rest of these are all full, except for, well, that one's almost. So, considering what we've got in here, we will just grab all of them. We will take the whole lot, and we will do all of them all together, and sell the whole lot all together as well. So I will bring you back this way, up to here. We'll get all of this lot sold, even if we don't finish selling the other stuff. Right, you are currently on bales. You need to be on pallets. Let's switch you. Mission pallets, egg boxes, cotton modules, pallets right there. That one I need to press EU to start it loading. I've got several. I got one empty pallet loaded on. Right, I got one empty pallet there, and then I got those two pallets over there. This is not very helpful. I want to get. I don't want that empty pallet on here. You know what? We'll take it anyway. We'll just do it like this. We'll run these round and we'll sell these. I can't use the front loader to do anything different with this anyway. And right, what do I want to do? I want to press Y to unload onto the trailer and then put the straps on like that. We'll run this round. We get this sold. Then we come back, we get two more pallets, we get that sold as well. The tractor is going up to the right place to go and do that bit, so we'll just ignore that one and let that one carry on doing what it's doing. I will take the straps off here and then move on up, like this. And it has started selling all of that wool. Look at this coming in. Ha ha ha! $108,000 worth of wool right there. That's just to start with. That is just to start with. We haven't even finished yet. So I'll bring all of these pallets over this way. And then I've got some more that I can go and load up. But what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to unload these pallets back here. Like this. Get that to there, and then I'm going to load those pallets there, like that, and then I'm going to unload the pallets there, like that, and I'm going to go forward, load pallets again, like that. Actually, that's all I need to do. There's one other thing I want to do, which was get a couple of these on, like this, and then I want to stop loading. No, I want a couple more. I want two more of them, like that. Right, now stop loading. And then run on round. So I've got 6 pallets exactly. That's what I'm going to use on there. I'm not going to bother putting the straps onto these. I want to do this fairly quickly, just in case the sheep try to spawn a little bit more wool. That's not going to be helpful for us. So I want to get the last 2 pallets up on here. We had $108,000 worth of wool already. Then unload that onto there, and there's 2 more full pallets. There's another 21,000, we'll call that. So now load those back on again. 21,000 we call that, and we had 108,000. Well, if we call it 22,000, that's 110. That's $130,000 worth of wool. Roughly speaking, $130,000 worth of wool. That's pretty good, I would say. That's pretty good. That is way beyond pretty good. That is an insane amount of money from our wool, and very, very good. I think that we can be suitably pleased with that amount of money that we're getting from there. I do want to bring you round. I got to just do that with the tractor, and then do that with the tractor, a little bit like that. No, it's nudging it around a little bit. It's just because these wool pallets are not going to be offloaded in the correct spot otherwise. There, that's what I want. I want to bring them over to there and go forward a little bit like that, I think, and then unload them. That's not the right spot at all, but it will do. Because what I can do is I can turn round over here. I will use the front weight to nudge those pallets into place. And then we can go and pick up the other pallets, and I'll put them back over here near the other bits. Right, I can just nudge you forward a bit like that. There. That's those pallets in place. That's all of them on. And then I can go and get these other pallets loaded back onto this trailer, and I will put them in front of these wool pallets that we've got here. And then I can easily move them all around if I need to again. So get you loading on here like this. 2 more, and that one, and then stop that one loading there. Oops. Alright, jackknifing my tractor and trailer here. This is probably not the best way to behave. Then do that with the trailer and bring you up over. I want to get these unloaded and tidied up. You know, we're working late tonight. We may as well do the work properly and just finish things up. So I'll just drop those pallets down over to there like that. And then we've got them there. They're ready on standby to pick up later. So we're just going to stop the tractor there. We're not going to do anything else with that one now. And I'll go back over to you. You have now done the weed killer. So we've gone and sold all of the wool. The weed killer is done. There's a little patch of weeds up there. That's fine. We're not going to worry about that. Oops. I meant to start folding it up. And we'll bring this one back into the yard. Like that. Fold up the sprayer as we run without actually walloping anything. It'd help if we had some lights on while we did this. That's folded up there so that we can park that one up. And I think that is a job well done. So we're going to park up there like that. Stop you. Little bit later in the... I mean, yeah, it is only 10 o'clock. But it's not too bad. I think that we've done ourselves proud. We're now on $200,000 as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So we'll get here. We will skip the night. We will do as long a night as we can for sleeping, so we can have a slightly later start in the morning, just to kind of reflect that we were working a bit later last night. The time we went in, had our tea and everything, then it would have taken a little bit longer. So we've got fertilizer that we need to go and do up there. That field's now done. I just need to get fertilizer on there, and everything is looking absolutely wonderful. I've got 164 sheep. They're looking great. I've got 8,000 litres of wool already on those sheep. Eggs, 8,000 on there. Eggs are doing great. Okay, so we've got the animals and everything that we need to deal with next. Let's have a look at the prices. Wow, silage went to 250 and now it's gone down. That's actually gone down. Wool is on 950, but silage has dropped. Straw is alright. We could sell a little bit of straw, but the silage is actually, like, seriously, I did not expect that to be dropping. Wool in here, in just one day, I've got one full and another one almost full. Like, you get a huge amount of wool coming off of these sheep, and we don't even have a full pen yet. There is a lot of wool that comes out of those. That's actually pretty good, because it means we're going to get a lot of money. Anyway, I have run out of time, so if you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.